Okay, so today I'm going to talk about a little bit developments of PCCWs, and then I myself will do the introductions and some simple introductions of PCCW, and then my team, Ms. Serena Pa, will talk about the MPRA services, and also Kun Sanjay Kumar will talk about the HDVC. Okay, this is some of the backgrounds of HKT, Hong Kong Telecom, and some backgrounds of Hong Kong. Hong Kong is basically, we have about 7 million populations, and this is already multilingual countries with a lot of international fluent influence. Currently, we have about 3 domestic TV operators, and we have 17 fixed operators and 5 mobile operators. In terms of mobile penetrations, it is very high. We are talking about over 203% in 2002. And we also foresee, because of the demands on IP, the mobile penetrations will grow significantly in 2013 and 2014. Okay. HKT is basically our parents of PCCW Global. In 2000s, we merged with Cable and Wireless, so we formed PCCW. So both PCCW and HKT are both listed in Hong Kong and US. So we are actually listed companies in Hong Kong with very good high turnover and with very good interest in terms of dividends giving to the shareholders. The quadruples of PCCW is very important, and actually this is also one of our key focus to develop. The quadruples talking about, we have the broadband penetrations in the markets, the fixed line, the mobile business, and the TV and content. And basically, Now TV is a very successful business model in Asia, and we also share a lot of experiences of how we deploy the Now TV and integrate with the multimedia solutions with IP technologies into our platform. It forms the showcase of PCCW. Okay, so some slideshows on the PCCW Global. As I mentioned earlier, PCCW Global is basically the international arm of HKT. We are operating significantly and playing a very key role in the major area, especially in Thailand. We see Thailand is a very strategic and important position for PCCW Global. In the past years, we work very closely with CAT and work closely with the CAT solution team to provide the international services to the CAT customers in terms of like MPLS, IPVPN, IP transit. And significantly with the recent openings of the Myanmar markets, so Thailand has becoming more and more significant in terms of the geographic locations. And upcoming, there will be new 2 cables coming in to Thailand. The first one we call the CME 5, which the new cable to be deployed very, very soon. And another new cable we call it AAE. So this cable is extended from South Africa across to Europe and coming over to Asia. So Thailand actually plays a very important role in the regional developments. And actually Thailand, it is a very significant position to uplift all the neighboring countries' status in terms of telecommunications utilizations. Okay. In PCCW Global, we have 42 locations all wide. All these 42 locations, we have an office and people on the ground to serve the customers' requirements. Likewise, in Thailand, we already established our PCCW Global Thailand office since last year, 2011. Okay. In terms of coverage, we have reached to 130 countries and over 3,000 cities. All the coverage, we already cover the whole Asia Pacific, India, Middle East, Europe and Africa. In the Latin American, recently we just acquired one company, Africa company is called Gateway. So this actually enhanced our coverage to South Africa, America, and also Middle East. Okay. In terms of global diversities on IP infrastructures, we are actually well interconnected with all the major submarine cables. As I mentioned earlier, the new directions and new focus will be on the CME V5 cable and also on the AAE cables. So I'm going to pass over to the rest of the time to my team, Kun Surinapa, our Thailand office, and then I would let her to introduce our services to you in Thai. So please welcome Kun Surinapa.
ขอบคุณค่ะแล้วก็สวัสดีนะคะเราปรับหูมาเป็นภาษาไทยกันบ้างเนาะเรามาทานภาคไทยนะคะวันนี้จะมาพูดถึง Service MPLS VPN ของทาง PCCW Global นะคะ PCCW Global เนี่ยเราให้บริการ Service MPLS VPN Network นะคะที่เป็น running อยู่บน Layer 3นะคะซึ่ง Service ของเราวันนี้เราจะเน้นคำว่า Premier นะคะขอโทษค่ะเนื่องจากว่าService ของเราเป็น Premier เนื่องจากว่าเราให้บริการไม่ว่าจะเป็นลูกค้าที่เป็นกลุ่มองค์กรบริษัทนะคะหรือว่าให้บริการกับprovider อื่นๆทั่วโลกในการที่จะให้ Service MPLS ไปทั้ง global นะคะทำไมถึงเป็น PCCW Global เนื่องจากว่าถ้าพูดถึงในแง่ของ telecommunication หรือในแง่ของ network เนี่ยคำถามแรกที่ปกติที่จะได้รับกลับมาคือการครอบคลุมของการให้บริการของ provider สำหรับ PCCW Global เนี่ยข้อแรกที่เราเอาขึ้นมาว่าทำไมจะต้องเป็นเราเนื่องจากว่าเราสามารถครอบคลุมได้ถึง130ประเทศทั่วโลกและควบคุมถึง 3,000 ซิตี้นะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นการให้บริการอยู่บนเครือข่ายของ PCCW Global เองหรือเครือข่ายที่เรามีพาร์ทเนอร์เราเอาไว้นะคะอีกข้อหนึ่งก็คือในแง่ของ one stop shop ก็คือลูกค้าเนี่ยสามารถที่จะ contact เราเจ้าเดียวในการที่จะให้บริการสาขาต่างๆของคุณไม่ว่าจะเป็นประเทศอะไรในแอฟริกา US ยุโรปหรือเอเชียเราสามารถให้บริการได้ทั้งหมดรวมไม่ว่าจะเป็นทั้ง service แล้วก็รวมถึงmanage router ด้วยนะคะข้อที่3ก็คือเนื่องจากว่ามันรันอยู่บนโครงข่าย MPLS นะคะเราก็เลยทำคลาสของ Service ที่รันอยู่บนเครือข่าย MPLS ขึ้นมาเพื่อที่จะมาตอบสนองความต้องการของลูกค้าที่อาจจะมีความต้องการต่างๆกันไปที่จะรันอยู่บนเน็ตเวิร์กเดียวกันนะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นทีวีเป็นวิดีโอหรือว่าเป็นเสียงหรือว่าเป็นแค่ Data ธรรมดานะคะข้อต่อไปก็คือเนื่องจากว่าเรา flexible เนื่องจากว่า PCCW Global เนี่ยเราให้บริการทั่วโลกฉะนั้นเราค่อนข้างที่จะ flexible ในการหา solution ให้กับ enterprise customer เราจะไม่ใช่เป็นแค่ partner นะคะเราจะทำงานเหมือนกับเป็น call center ทางด้าน telecommunication ให้กับทาง enterprise customer ทุกๆรายด้วยอันนี้เราจะบอกถึงว่า Network ของ PCCW Global เนี่ยเราจะวิ่งอยู่บนNetwork ของเราเรียกว่า Core Network บน Cisco Base นะคะถ้าเราดูจุดเขียวๆตรงนี้นะคะอันนี้จะเป็นป๊อปของ PCCW ที่เราจำลองออกมาว่าทุกๆป๊อปในแต่ละประเทศที่เราไปตั้งเอาไว้เนี่ยเราจะมี Network ที่วิ่งออก2ทางเพื่อเป็น Backup และเป็น Resilience ให้กับทางลูกค้าเพื่อให้ทางลูกค้าเนี่ยมีความไว้วางใจใน Network ของเรานะคะอันนี้จะพูดถึงในส่วนของ Class of Service PCCW Global ในส่วนของ MPLS Service เนี่ยเราให้บริการแยกออกมาเป็น4 Class of Service นะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็น Gold Silver Plus Silver แล้วก็ Bronze นะคะในส่วนของ Go เนี่ยเราจะให้บริการในส่วนของ Voice เนื่องจากว่า Voice เนี่ยจะเป็นที่จะต้องมี Real Time ที่สูงมากเราก็จะเหมือนกับเป็นถนนแล้วเรามีทางด่วนนะคะอันนั้นเราก็จะ Classify ในส่วนของ Voice ให้ไปอยู่ในส่วนของ Go Class Silver เนี่ยจะมาในส่วนของ Video Streaming นะคะเพราะว่าต้องการ Real Time ที่ต่ำลงมานะคะส่วนของ critical พวก SAP ERP Oracle ทั้งหมดเนี่ยเราจะ classify อยู่ในส่วนของ silver แล้วก็ในส่วนของ internet browsing นะคะหรือว่าจะเป็น email data transfer ธรรมดาเนี่ยจะอยู่ในส่วนของ bronze ฉะนั้นลูกค้าสามารถเลือกได้ว่าความต้องการของ enterprise เนี่ยต้องการ voice กี่เปอร์เซ็นต์ silver กี่เปอร์เซ็นต์แล้วก็ bronze กี่เปอร์เซ็นต์ในการที่จะมาครอบคลุมความต้องการในบริษัทแล้วเราก็จะสามารถจัดเรียงความต้องการแล้วก็ priority ของ Data ได้นะคะ อันนี้จะเป็นตัวอย่างนะคะของ Network ที่ทาง PCCW Global เคยให้บริการลูกค้าต่างๆเราจะมีหลายโซลูชันซึ่งทางลูกค้าที่เป็น Enterprise เนี่ยจะมีความต้องการที่แตกต่างกันขึ้นอยู่กับความ secure หรือว่า budget ที่เตรียมเอาไว้นะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นผ่าน Single Pop นะคะแล้วก็ Single Local Loop ไปถึงออฟฟิศหรือไม่ว่าจะเป็น Single Pop เดียวนะคะออกไปแต่ว่ามีสายLocal Loop 2 เส้นมาถึงที่ออฟฟิศเพื่อให้เป็นบริการแบ็กอัพในประเทศนะคะหรือว่าข้อที่ 3 ก็คือต้องการ Security ที่สูงมากส่วนใหญ่จะเป็นในกลุ่มของ Financial หรือว่า Banking นะคะเราส่วนใหญ่เนี่ยจะมาที่ Solution นี้ก็คือจะเป็น Solution ที่ใช้ทั้ง Dual Pop 2 Pop นะคะแล้วก็2 Local Access นะคะอันที่3นะคะอันนี้ก็จะมีในส่วนของ Airline นะคะที่ส่วนใหญ่จะใช้อันที่3ก็คือบัดเจ็ตเนี่ยจะถูกลงเพราะเนื่องจากว่าจะผ่านป๊อปด้วยแล้วก็แบ็กอัพเนี่ยเราจะแบ็กอัพให้เป็น IPsec VPN ที่วิ่งอยู่บนอินเทอร์เน็ตนะคะแล้วก็ในส่วนของ Manage Router ที่เราสามารถให้บริการได้เนี่ยก็จะสามารถให้บริการได้ไม่ว่าจะเป็น Cisco 1,900 2,900 หรือ 3,900 ซีรีส์อันนี้ขึ้นอยู่กับrequirement ของทางลูกค้าแล้วก็ service แล้วก็ class of service ที่จะรันอยู่ข้างบนทาง PCCW Global เราก็สามารถดูแลได้ถึงในส่วนของ Manage Router ด้วยนะคะอันนี้จะเป็นในส่วนที่ทาง PCCW Global สามารถการันตีให้กับทางลูกค้าได้ก็คือ level of commitment นะคะถ้าเป็นในส่วนของ service availability นะคะอันนี้ค่อนข้างที่จะสำคัญสำหรับลูกค้าส่วนใหญ่จะเจอคำถามตลอดเวลาว่าคุณการันตีเรามากน้อยแค่ไหนในส่วนของ PCCW Global เนี่ยถ้าเกิดว่าเป็น port only เราสามารถให้การันตีได้ถึง 99.99%นะคะเกือบจะไม่มีดาวไทม์เลยพูดง่ายๆคือเกือบจะ 100% แต่ถ้าในส่วนของที่จะเป็นพอร์ตบวก local loop นะคะก็คือสายในประเทศเนี่ยเราให้บริการคอมมิตได้ถึง 99.90% ด้วยซ้ำนะคะส่วนในส่วนของ Premium Stream ก็คือถ้าเกิดว่ามี2พอร์ตนะคะ Dual Port กับ Local Loop 2 เส้นหรืออะไรก็ตามเราสามารถให้บริการ Commit Level ได้ถึง 99.95% นะคะและทาง PCCW Global เนี่ยเนื่องจากว่าเราเป็นเจ้าของโครงข่าย Connecting ทั่วโลกเองรวมถึง Submarine Cable ทั่วโลกนะคะเราเลยสามารถที่จะหา Latency ที่ดีที่สุดให้กับลูกค้าได้สำหรับลูกค้าบางท่านที่มี requirement ว่าต้องการ latency ที่ดีที่สุดในการวิ่งจากประเทศไทยออกไปทาง region อื่นๆไม่ว่าจะเป็นแอฟริกาเราสามารถที่จะเลือกเคเบิลเพื่อจะมา support ได้นะคะต่อไปเนี่ยจะเป็นในส่วนของ package delay นะคะเราคอมมิตได้ถึง 99.9% และที่สำคัญที่สุดเนี่ยก็น่าจะเป็นในส่วนของ provisioning เพราะว่าลูกค้าส่วนใหญ่ในส่วนของ enterprise เนี่ยค่อนข้างที่จะ concern เลยว่าเวลาเซ็นสัญญาแล้วเนี่ยคุณบอกว่า30วันขึ้นได้จริงหรือเปล่าในส่วนของ PCCW Global เนี่ยตราบใดถ้าเราคอมมิตกับลูกค้าแล้วเรามีการดีเลย์เราจะมีการรีฟันในส่วนของดีเลย์ให้ด้วยต่อวันนะคะว่าเราขึ้นเซอร์วิสดีเลย์ไปแค่ไหนแล้วเราก็จะให้คืนกลับมากับลูกค้าในเรื่องของรีเบทนะคะต่อไปจะ introduce คุณซานเจชาม่านะคะจะขึ้นมาพูดถึงเรื่อง Cloud แล้วก็ Value Added Service ที่จะรันบน Cloud และ MPLS ด้วยค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
Arun Sawat Krab. Hello everybody, this is Sanjay. I am into regional business of Indochina also. And as all service provider has been looking into how to provide value-added services into their basic service offering to their customers, PCW team has been also putting extensive effort in last few years to keep adding values to our end users and create a stickiness to customers so they find more value in the operations and efficiencies. In the same regard, I would take up few value-added services which PCW has developed over the time for its end customers and partners around the region. And one of them is cloud-based cloud services. In fact, which is talk of the town everywhere. And PCW team, in along with its partner, has developed customized and efficient cloud services on. So I'll take on some details for you. And as per the agenda in cloud services, I would go through the basics and brief what we are offering under cloud services right now and what are our plans. And so I'll pick it up on what is cloud and how we offer services and what are the benefits to our partners and its end customers. Actually, cloud definition itself is also saying that it is a virtual thing. It's not something which is sitting at your premise. So it's a next generation evolution of internet technology where service delivery of all IT applications and IT resources are delivered to customer via virtual network and not via their own premise infrastructure on it. And so in terms of the cloud computing, the basic features which we see from an end user perspective is that it is a dispersed infrastructure, and it has got feature of on-demand allocation. It's not fixed based on your infrastructure of end user. It is based on infrastructure provided or shared by the service provider like PCCW. And so allocations are far efficient, far elastic, and more of a usage-based allocation rather than fixed like used to be our typical core network applications before. It's also provide you the most and the biggest advantage for end customers in cloud-based computing or cloud-based solutions is that you don't need to have your hardware or software applications running at your premise, and you are using or you're sharing the infrastructure which is developed by service provider like PCCW and its partner like CAT here in Thailand. So customer would have end user, in fact enterprise, small or big or medium scale, would have all the advantage sitting on their doorstep without having infrastructure in their office basically. And the beauty is you're paying as you're using. You're not developing the infrastructure and then waiting to use it. You're just paying what is you're using on it. When you would like to see the basic difference on the traditional IT delivery model as well in compared to cloud-based model, the basic difference here is when it comes from investment perspective of end user, the premise-based IT solutions are mainly CapEx oriented. So all related cost and services end user has to procure first and then make use of it. While in terms of the cloud computing, it is mainly OpEx. There is no CapEx. So end user is totally free from all of the hardware and software requirements of it, because service provider is already has put into their core network here, like PCCW in our cloud-based platform in Hong Kong have all facilities already inbuilt to meet the different type of needs of end user. And so it's only OpEx, so CapEx is gone, which is a huge advantage looking at the current cost-efficient environment for telecom arena. Second thing, from a lead time or deployment perspective, the original the premise-based services, the end user has to go through a lot of provisioning, lot of procurement process, has to match the logistic arrangements, so the delays can vary. While in terms of cloud-based computing, you are just making an order to the service provider and they are taking care because the platform is already there, so lead time would be definitely much minimal. And in terms of the control, also cloud computing helps end user, because service provider is taking care of it on the base of the whole network, and rather than each individual end user. And when it comes to capacity, which is quite critical, like, okay, just for example, customer has requirement of extending its capacity because of emergency requirements, they have to go through the procurement process, which can be lengthy and they can miss their milestone. While in cloud computing, service provider is already there. So its facilities are there and it has got all scalability. So only thing you have to do is, you have to just put a request to service provider like PSW, and they will be able to add capacity without any delay. And in terms of reliability, like every country has got its own limitations on infrastructure, and so end user also have those limitations in terms of availability of right solution, and so they may have less of bit reliability on the solution, while when it goes to cloud, service provider is making sure all the new and high-tech grades are already inbuilt into their facilities, so end user is making use of high-end reliability from service provider. Basically, there are three different type of cloud services. As you see on the right side, it shows basically infrastructure-based cloud services, then cloud platform-based, and then application-based. All three basic type are being deployed in market, but platform, but infrastructure-based cloud services is most common, because that's what the enterprise looking at the main requirement, and after that is all application which they have their own customization. So PSW is basically providing the infrastructure as a service in terms of the cloud, and software and applications are on the top layer, which are decided as per the customer requirement. How user is using this cloud is just very basic, like you're using internet, you're using a browser on your laptop, whether it is on mobile device or it is on desktop, you can make use of all services as basic as browser basically on it. So it's very, very simple. Then in terms of the services for enterprise, you got different scale of enterprise. One are very SMEs, small, medium size, then big, and then huge. And their requirements are also varied. So when we are talking about activating the cloud services for enterprise user, we go as per their customized requirement, and then we manage the solution on our virtualized servers and the application in our platform side. So end user, what he is getting from cloud is just basic. Two things. One is they get access to a virtual server which is not sitting at their premise, and they have not invested into it. So they are co-sharing the virtual servers at PCCW platform. And on top of it, what customer get is, as per their requirement, how much is the storage size they want. So it can be multi-gig, it can be small. It depends on just customer usage and requirement. We are providing a protected services under cloud. So we have all firewall inbuilt at our platform. And then we got 24/7 monitoring and operation support as it is for any other service. In terms of, like I mentioned, depending on the scale of the customer, we have defined different type of the cloud computing services for customers. One is basic, which with minimal requirements, like small companies like 4 to 5 people and running their operations. Then we got enterprise. Then we got advanced, are really big size of MNCs and global operations, those enterprise who are running in many offices, so their scales are big. So we have services defined for them separately on it. How customer is paying? Very simple, just two things. One, how many servers they are renting, or how many servers they have subscribed to, which is virtual server, and what is the storage size. And these are the two charging schemes under infrastructure as a service cloud computing. And you see the layer, how it is. At the bottom is a PCCW network, which is connected to is a global core network of MPLS as well as IP transit and IPLCs. And then on the top of it is the customer network. You can see three things. One is virtual machine, means customers owns a server at our platform. Then they confirm what operating system they would like us to play for them, and then on the top of it is their application. It can be sales application, it can be finance, it can be SAP, it can be customized applications, and which PSW work with end user when we are provisioning the solution. This is our, what we call it, hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud, we do not need to be probably just get related it to the IP or internet access. Cloud can be private totally, which is using MPLS network, and you can, on the top of it, will be using internet-based cloud access. So both end user can decide which applications they want to use via internet and which applications they want to use via MPLS private network. And PCCW being global network provider reaching almost each city in the world on our own network or with NNIs, we ensure that customer can access us basically. In just as a summary on cloud, basic advantage to everybody who is using it, cost saving, is no capex, it's all OPEX based services on it. It is definitely adding to the flexibility. End user is not making too many plannings for adding their infrastructure or adding the applications and the services on. What they are saying is they are just setting up the requirement to the service provider, and the service provider will work on it and then make it. So there is a lot of flexibility on it. There is a lot of time saving, and it of course improving the efficiency as well as reliability. Reliability, end user may not be having the all infrastructure at his premise, but when the service provider like PSW, we will have those all inbuilt, so end user is sharing it into full. So there is a lot of reliability here. For cloud, I have completed this presentation, basic definitions on it. Now I would take up the next topic, which is talking about video conferencing and globally, and inter-office and intra-offices, which is as per the many research and surveys, video conferencing services growing at the rate of 20 to 25% every year, and for basically two reasons. One, cost of ownership has come down with time, and as well there is a lot of interoperability between different equipments, between different protocols, and solutions are more now matured in terms of the video conferencing. And the topmost advantage which video conferencing is providing to corporates is they are saving on cost because of they don't need to have travel. Second, they have added efficiency in terms of discussions. They don't need to travel to other countries and places to make meetings and all that. So they make it bring a lot of efficiency to the enterprise. As a basic rundown, our platform, you can see on the top is showing, this is the layout nowadays when you get on a multi-office video conferencing bridge. It is, you have a room-based equipment, you have a basic PCs which are running video conferencing software as well, and then you have mobile devices. So what, I think these are basic three access method which customer would like to have, room-based big video equipments. Then you have desktop, individual users are doing it from their office seats, and then you have mobile devices. Mobile devices, you are anywhere, you can just access to the network without going into your office or without going into your meeting room. And what we call it is our basic service is Meet Me. Means when you want to connect to other user on video conferencing, you just need to activate your software, and then it will give the message via PSW network that you are available, and you can do a video conferencing to other user. Video conferencing is nothing different than audio conferencing. As in audio conferencing, we use a simple bridge, and then multi-party can get into a bridge and talk without really making a call to each other. Same is the concept behind the video conferencing. When PSW MCU, which is called multi-call unit, is like in our Hong Kong network center, will manage, configure, and operate the different site video conferencing for end customer. So quality over the time of the equipments has gone up, and there is a lot of interoperability right now. And then accessibility, like compared to before, you need to have a video, big equipments, and video side big rooms to manage the video conferencing. Now it comes down to a mobile device or a simple laptop, so you have accessibility with a high degree right now. And like every enterprise is growing with the time. They are adding offices, they are adding branch offices, they are adding the warehouses. They don't need to worry on changing their existing network. So scalability is very simple nowadays. Once you get new site requirement, you just add to the service provider, and they will configure in their MCU and make all settings ready. So once you need it, new branch office is already added into it, and no more hassles in that. Just a basic platform, basically, which shows how different sites are connected on a video bridge right now. You see on the top, there is a meeting room size. Then you have on the other country, like you can see, one is in US, one is in Europe, one is in America, one is in Tokyo. Then can be, so those all are on the same panel, and they can see who all are attending the call, and then they will be having different features on, whether it's on listening side or they are making a presentations. So then you will all have this added features nowadays on video layout. Like video, big size equipment rooms are still needed for the big branch offices or HQ levels. But when you goes to the small operations, you only need a desktop as well, or a mobile device to run the software to access to the bridge to PCCW on. You can see how it looks on mobile device. So two people are doing conference, and then one on a small size, one on big size, and the quality is quite high now, quite better compared to few years before. What we have added over time, video conferencing has been existing for long, but what we have done here is we allow our partners and customers to do inter-office as well as intra-office operations. Like a big retail company have a lot of resellers and channel sales in different country, and PSW would be able to interconnect to their end users and resellers and sales channels with using our network. So you can see on this diagram is showing, which is this customer A, different branch offices and HQ, and on the left side you see a different customer, which is not customer, it's a partner of customer A. So what they can do at the same time, they have a whole, their sales conference can run via multi-site bridge in PCCW. How do we charge video conferencing or HDVC services on it? Just basic two two components. One is setup charge, which is one time, depend on how many Meet Me conference bridge end user would like to subscribe with PCCW. And second is the usage charge, which is monthly charge. So it will be counting the hours, how many hours you have used over the platform, and then we will charge according to that. This is a latest added feature into our HDVC platform, HDVC service offering, which is switched HDVC call over NNI. Like with CAT being our very old partner in terms of the enterprise services and service provider requirements like MPLS, like IPLC, like Ethernet. And so when we have NNI, network to network integration between CAT and PCCW, what it means is CAT can access to all services of PCCW Global without doing any provisioning or without doing any new hiccups. They are just as smooth as just adding the capacity on the existing link. And how we will be able to support our partners like CAT is that they can switch their different video conferencing customers using PCW network from their Thailand branch offices or Thailand customer sites to foreign offices. You can see this. So it goes, first it goes to our bridge. Once bridge set up between A and B party, one is in Thailand, one is in Hong Kong, then our bridge, once bridge make it configuration activated, then A and B are talking directly, and our MCU is just a monitor. This was the basic on it, and I would be very glad in case anything more to clarify, I can take it separately with you. And we really value you all coming in, and we hope we can add value to your network as well as bring efficiency to your services on. Thank you so much.